Well guys, welcome back to the nest. Hope you're all keeping well. Hope you're all enjoying May. It's been nice and sunny. And tonight we are here to do another movie reaction. We're here to continue on with 1974. Tonight is another disaster movie, believe it or not. It is The Towering Inferno, starring Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, Robert Vaughn, and I believe I heard this is a big name to look out for in future movies, Robert Wagner. Definitely keep an eye out for him. Now, I was recommended this movie after watching the Poseidon Adventure. As you remember, we did in 1972. The big ship and everything. I'm joining! See, to be honest, I don't know which one I prefer. Actually, I tell a lie. Probably this one. I wasn't expecting this movie to be so long. Like, the Poseidon Adventure was probably about an hour and a half. This one was about 2 hours and 30 minutes. No, it wasn't that long. It was only about 2 hours and 20 minutes. I liked how the message at the beginning is basically saying, thank you so much to all the dedicated firemen out there. You know, that they do put their lives on the line to save lives, so they do. I really like that message, so I did. So basically, they have built the tallest building in the world in Los Angeles by the looks of it. I actually don't know what the tallest building in the world currently is at the minute. I would love to go inside one of those big skyscrapers. Can you just imagine me? I'm on top of the world! Oh, they're just like ants down there. Aren't they, brothers? Basically, this is the grand opening of the tallest building in the world. So it was designed by a man named Doug Roberts, who Paul Newman plays. I wonder what you have to do to design a building like that. You must have all the sheets laid out in front of you. Oh, I guess, no here, no. No, I assume they must improvise. You never know. I don't know how architects work. I know that they designed the building, but that must have taken Doug a long time to design. And it turns out that his fiancée is working in the building too. Now this is the opening of the big night, but what they don't know is that a fire has started on one of the floors. Now the reason why is because the man who owns the building, his son-in-law, Roger, he was the designer of the electricity there, and he decided to cut corners. He's a piece of shit. Like, how much of a cheapskate do you have to be? You can't be tight during things like this. It's health and safety. That's just common sense. And even upon meeting Roger, he just seems like an evil shit, so he does. I mean, you can just look in his eyes, and he even says to his wife, the builder's daughter, the man who owns the building, that's who he's married to. You're just like your father. I see every bit inside you. The whole building is on fire. I did realise that during this movie there is a dance scene. You know, like in the Poseidon Adventure, there's a dance scene and there's dinner. Everyone's wearing suits, having a good time. But what they don't realise is that there's disasters about to strike. It's probably the way in all disaster movies. 1 minute you don't know what's happening, but you try to enjoy it. That's probably what makes it a bit more exciting. Yee, we're having fun, we're partying. Hey, how you doing? Hey. The boat's overturned. Hey, we're having fun, we're having fun. Mr. Duncan, the building's on fire. It's urgent. It's not urgent, why don't you just come on but enjoy the party? It takes everyone's minds off it. I loved how there were 2 kids that have a deaf mother, and you know that they do everything they can to help her. You know they're not hard of hearing at all. And Mrs. Mueller, who's there with her cat, you know, she's very good. She's basically like a grandmother figure to them. You know, their mum has a hard life, you know, being hard of hearing, but she is there to step in. I wonder if she knows the kids that well. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the Poseidon Adventure there were 2 kids, and you know, they were the ones that we were hoping would survive the most out of everyone in that group. I was really rooting for the kids as well. Chief of Security, Harry, you know, he's alongside all this as well, and he's also played by O.J. Simpson. I've been told very awful things about him, but I don't want to get into all that anyway. I believe that the disaster genre started off in 1970 with this film called Airport. I've not seen Airport before. I don't know why I didn't watch it. I might give it a wee whirl, and I might tell you guys how I think about it in one of the upcoming videos, because you know, if it's a big movie, especially for 1970, because I remember I only did 2 movies back then. I did also notice that there was a married couple, who are desperate to see their daughter, and this is the same in the Poseidon Adventure, Jack Albertson and Shelley Winters. Yes, Shelley Winters. They played a married couple who were on their way to see their grandson, and they were given a cross, but they just have a daughter who they haven't seen in so many years. The trouble basically begins whenever one of the colleagues there runs towards the door who is about to be opened by a customer, but luckily they're saved at the right moment. But unfortunately, the person does not survive. They get taken to hospital, but they've been absolutely burned to death. Michael O'Halloran, the chief of the fire department, who's played by Steve McQueen, he is on his way to help extinguish the fire, fight it, but he's going to have a lot of work to do. I don't know if you guys realise this, but Steve McQueen and Paul Newman, they kind of do look like each other in a way. I wonder how that went during the during the filming. Hey, Mr. Newman. I'm Steve, actually. Paul. Steve. Paul. We need to get you guys name badges. Well, I think that Steve was the older looking one anyway. Like, I saw him in The Great Escape. Paul Newman, they do actually look so similar. I think just Steve McQueen has the curlier hair anyway. Fortunately, Bigelow, Robert Wagner's character, he's been sleeping with his secretary, and unfortunately they do not survive in the end. Is there a cigarette burning here? Yeah, I hardly believe one cigarette is going to light a 163-foot building on fire. They both just get absolutely burned alive. As soon as Bigelow goes out of the room, he's just cooked to a crisp, and that's for the crows to eat. While the secretary, on the other hand, her face is just covered in smoke, she can't breathe, and she falls out the window. That's two people who's definitely not surviving. But at this moment are just desperate to get in the elevator and just get downstairs, and it's just an absolute hellfire. No pun intended. But I was so scared that the kids weren't going to survive, especially since the boy is wearing these big headphones. I didn't know they actually had music headphones back in 1974. I didn't know they had those big ones, to protect hearing and everything. But luckily the mum survives as well, and especially the wee girl Angela, because she's just stuck in the cupboard trying to escape from the fumes. But Doug Roberts, absolutely generous man, he rescues Angela at the last minute. However, the fire has now caused explosions, and it has destroyed one of the stairwells. And I gotta say, it takes Doug a lot of effort to get Miss Mueller and the two kids down safely. I gotta say, I was worried about the cat, but Harry manages to get the cat out of the apartment just in time. Can't leave without you, buddy. Unfortunately, the electricity gets cut after the kids have made it up to the top of the building where the party was taking place, and the elevators are no longer in service. But that means they have to use the outside elevator, and the kids get stuck inside that. Before they go in the elevator, a call man who was trying to flirt with Miss Mueller, he actually wants her so bad, but he's just been telling so many lies. Just be honest. If you meet someone you love, whether it be a man or a woman, always be honest. Tell them everything about yourself, what your situation is, where you live, if you're successful or not. They'll appreciate you for that. But surprisingly, Mrs. Mueller actually knows that he's not what he says he is. But she doesn't mind. That's the definition of finding someone you truly need in life. That means you find the right person. Someone who loves you for you. Wish I could find someone like that. Unfortunately, whenever Mrs. Mueller, the kids, and everyone gets inside the lift, another explosion takes place. I think this is something to do with the helicopter, because the helicopter does go to the rooftop, but because there's so many women on the rooftop panicking, it just spirals out of control. Please, take it easy. Whenever you see there's a helicopter there that is out to rescue, you're safe. But that just causes the elevator to just go kaboom. Mrs. Mueller unfortunately falls out of the elevator, and it is now just hanging by a pipe. I gotta say, I wonder what they were doing during this meeting. I mean, did they actually you have... Did they have blue screen back in the day? I'm wondering. Or maybe they actually did set an actual building on fire. Maybe I should find out. You never know. Some people like to go the extra mile. I do feel sorry for the kids. I got so squeamish, seeing the kids stuck in there, and wee Angela's like, wee Angela, I'm not gonna cry if you're gonna cry. But there's now a new plan. O'Halloran decides to use the helicopter to fly onto the elevator and hook it up. And luckily, the plan works. And now another great plan goes into action. There are water tanks at the top of the building, and they plan to use plastic bombs to stick there. And then boom, the water will just go flying down all over the building and it will just extinguish the fire. Sounds like a pretty hefty plan, but we don't know if we don't try. I will say it was a cathartic moment whenever I saw Roger, get what he deserved, because at that moment he didn't even care whether Patty, his wife, was going to be safe. He just decided it was every man for himself. And he kept trying to cross over onto the big cable. Now, I gotta say, that cable. I don't know if you guys ever see these wee carts where, say, if you're going skiing, fun's gonna happen, but there would only be one activated in a time like that, and it wouldn't be so much fun at all. You're trying to get out of there for your life, and it would be so slow because you would also worry about that cable going off. It was kind of a pure moment whenever he went flying out of the building. Doug and O'Halloran actually managed to plant the bombs onto the water tanks, and surprisingly it works. Like it's just like a big rainstorm. However, it was quite risky because it just managed to cause a big flood inside the dance room, and like people could have been flushed out the window because of that. Actually, I tell a lie, some people were flushed out of the window during that. Luckily, Doug and Michael were not among them. A good number of the main characters have managed to survive. Whenever you get down on the ground, Claiborne finds out that Mrs. Muller has died, unfortunately. And I was actually wondering what was going to happen to the cat the whole movie. Harry has actually made it out of the building alive, and he gives the cat to Claiborne. So that means he's going to have a part of Miss Muller with him. He'll have something to take care of that'll remind him of Mrs. Muller, and I think he's going to be a great cat owner. Patty is very unfortunate at losing Roger, but why should she be upset? He was a shit husband, so he was. And she's reunited with her father, and he does make a promise. Darling, I can't bring back the dead, but I gotta do something to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. In the end, the final scene shows that Michael and Doug decide to come up with a plan to create a building that will be completely free of fires. Call me whenever you need me. I always wonder, will a building ever be short of fire? Like, I think a building has to have fire, for like the kitchens and everything, and buildings have to have electricity and all that shit, so they do. You can't, but I think they're going to be a lot more safer with something like that. But it's a good movie to show that, you can learn from your mistakes. I think that's what the film's trying to teach us here. I think a big reason why I enjoyed this more than the Poseidon Adventure was because more people managed to survive. In the last one there were only like 6 survivors, especially the main character, Gene Hackman's priest character. He died during that movie, just at the very end, so he did. So I think we're just so lucky that Steve's character and Paul's character were able to make it out alive, and especially the cat and the kids, obviously. Because, I love animals, so I do. I don't ever want to see a wee animal get hurt or anything. But yeah, did really enjoy this movie. It was another big vein in the 1970s disaster films, from what I've heard. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I gotta admit, I need to keep up to date with more movies that I'm doing, like my release schedule on this channel. I've just been so busy with college, guys. Look, I know I'm trying to get something big on this channel. I'm trying to get big on this channel, but you have to remember, guys, my future comes first. I need to get my college work finished, especially because I've only got about 3 more weeks left, and then over the summer I can just do this a lot more than I'm used to. The way I'm doing my reactions at the minute. I absolutely hate it, me just talking to the camera. I know I'm starting to edit the videos, but I just think it's not really enough. You know what I mean? And I'm absolutely wrecked today. I was out last night and had to get up early. And if you have a nap, it doesn't make you feel any better. You just feel like dirt, so you do. I actually do look like a zombie if you look close up. But thank you so much for watching, guys. The next video will probably have to be tomorrow night because I do need to keep up to date with these. We're continuing on with 1974. We've still got 3 movies to react to on this channel, and then I've got 1 more film to do of 1974, and then the big plan is going to be happening. But keep up to date with that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all to death. Like, comment, subscribe, say what you would like to see next, share with your friends, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Turn on notifications. Love you all to death.